Hello and welcome, maybe even welcome back if you watched the previous installment. The previous installment consisted of me leaving you with an assignment to practice and play around with the concept of inheritance in .NET C# programming. The idea was to create three shapes, a rectangle, triangle, and a circle, and tie them together with a base class from which they all will derive, so that we could put the code that they all share in that base class, and we could enforce the idea of the second method that we want to deploy by using an abstract method in the base class. Two people actually responded to that, which sort of took me by surprise. One of them had the assignment almost correct, and the other one had the assignment for 100% correct. And they actually went the extra mile by actually including real methods to calculate the surface area. Um, they got two surface areas right, which is the surface area of the rectangle, which is easy, and the triangle. And they calculated the circumference of the circle rather than the surface area. But since that was way out of scope for the assignment, I still give it an A+. So, what I want to do now is sit down together and see what I would do to make this assignment. So, let's go ahead. I already set up a solution with a console project so that we can get cracking. So, let's go ahead. First, let's go here and add a class, which is going to be the base class. So we call that shape base, like so. And we are going to make this public, and we are going to make it abstract. No need to do so, but as I explained last time, if you make it abstract, you cannot instantiate this class by itself. And when I didn't do that for one of the classes that I was creating, the code review cat immediately slapped me on the fingers. So let's do that straight away. Now let's create a constructor, and let's give it a name property. It's a string property, and not string, but string, and it's called name. Okay, done that. Now let's make the constructor public. Let's not complicate anything. And we're going to get the name in the constructor, and we are going to assign it to our property. Good. What else do we need in the base class? We will have to create two methods for each shape. The first one is the fill method, and the second one is the method to calculate the surface area. Now, the fill method is identical for each and every shape, so we can put that here as a public void fill, and we are going to fill it with a color. And we are going to implement this as a console write line. Does not make things any harder than they are. And we are going to say name is now filled with color. like so. Let's end that sentence with a period, and we are done. Now, the second method, creating the or calculating the surface area, is specific to each shape. The surface area of a rectangle is calculated with a different formula than for a circle. So we cannot solve this, we cannot write an implementation for this in the base class, but what we can do is we can enforce a deriving class to implement that method by stating that we want to see a public abstract method. The method is going to return a float because one of them will contain a division, and it's called calculate surface area. And since we do not provide an implementation here, we can end it with a semicolon. Good, this is all the work that we need to do for the base class. Now let's create ourselves some deriving classes. The first one being a rectangle. We are also going to create a triangle. And we are going to create a class for the circle. Okay, let's attack these one by one. Let's start with the rectangle. You are going to be public, and you are going to inherit from shape base. I guess you saw that coming. Now, it immediately starts to moan that things are wrong, and we are going to make use of that because we are lazy. I'll show you. If you right-click on the rectangle word, which is now has a squiggly red line, we can say quick actions and refactorings. The first thing we will want to do is to create a constructor which will accept the name property. And if we do that, it will insert public rectangle string name and make the constructor immediately do a call to base with the same name string. And that's exactly what we want. So there. Saves us a lot of typing. Now, we still have a squiggly line here because we have not implemented a method for calculating the surface area yet. Now, if we right-click this one and we say quick actions and refactorings, it says implement abstract class. Why does it say class here if we want to implement a a method? Well, there may be a lot of abstract methods in the inheriting class. If we would now pick implement abstract class, it would create an implementation for all the methods. There's only one, so life is going to be easy here. It's going to create an implementation of the calculate surface area, and rather than throw a new not implemented exception, we will actually want to return the surface area. Now, the assignment says pull the actual number out of your posterior because I don't want to complicate the exercise with this. The only thing that interests me is how your base classes and your classes interact. So we are going to return a random number, and we are going to make that 42. We're not interested in the units at all because I don't want to get involved in a discussion between metric and imperial, so 42 is fine with me. Now we have to do the same thing for the circle class, so let's make it public and let's make it inherent shape base, like so. Now we're going to use the quick actions and refactorings, and we are going to say, okay, create me a constructor That's the constructor we want. And create me an implementation of whatever abstract methods we have here. That's this one. And like we just returned a random number for calculating the surface area of the rectangle, we are going to do the same thing here. So return 37. There's a story to the number 37 as well, but maybe I'll explain that in the comments. Maybe not, if I think of it. Okay. Now we need to fix the triangle. So, same thing. You could probably have done that by yourself. Simple, quick constructor and an implementation of the calculate surface area method, please. And let's return. You know what? Let's be adventurous. Let's return 69. No questions, please. Good. Believe it or not, we have done everything in the classes that we need to actually fulfill this assignment in program.cs. So let's go ahead, let's go there and do that. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new rectangle. Here we go. And we are going to give it a name. We are going to call it boringly rectangle. Now let's do the same thing for a circle and a triangle. So for triangle. Yeah. Do you think we're going to call this triangle, right? Well, I'm going to mess with your head. This should be something that you remember from school, and we are going to create a circle. And since I can't think of anything funny, I'm just going to call it circle. Like so. Good. Now, let's see what we can do with this. We can rectangle fill method. Remember, the rectangle class itself does not have a fill method, but it gets that from the base class. See, here it is. So, I can call that method, and I can say, let's make that yellow, like so. And I'm going to say rectangle calculate surface area. But I'm not calling that just like that. I'm going to wrap that into a console write line. And I'm going to add some decoration to that. Like so. And we need a closing one, and we are going to say name, no rectangle name. surface area is units, like so. Wow, that took a bit of work. I'm missing a bracket for the console write line method. This is it. This should do it. Now, we are lazy. We don't like typing. So we are going to copy this, plug it in there, and we are going to prevent making a copy-paste error. So this is the triangle. We're going to fill the triangle with blue. Who's afraid of red, yellow, and blue, right? Okay, we are going to calculate the surface area of the triangle. Like so. And we are going to do the same thing for a circle. So, circle. Okay, that should be red then, like so. And this should be a circle. And this, yeah, that looks, okay. Good. This is all the code that we need to prove that we have implemented the classes correctly. And since there are 0 errors here, which you cannot see because my head is over it, we should be able to run this and see the output. Let's give it a shot. I bet it's going to open on the other screen. And indeed, here it is, like so. Okay, we have filled our rectangle with yellow, and the surface area is 42 units. The triangle, which we call Pythagoras, is now filled with blue, and the surface area is 69. And the circle is now filled with red, and the circle's surface area is 37. So, we have completed the assignment. If you had the same thing as I had, congratulations. But I promised you that I would include methods to actually calculate the surface areas. So, let us go and do that. Right, as you can see, it's now completely pitch dark outside. I'm also wearing a different shirt, so apparently something got messed up in the continuity. This is because when editing, I discovered that if I would edit all the videos into one YouTube clip, the thing would become way too long, and we want to prevent that. So, the solution part where we actually get to calculate the surface areas will be in the next video, which will come online probably tomorrow evening, if you don't mind. And if you do mind, probably still tomorrow evening, because it's now 23:04 and I need to go to bed because tomorrow there is the beginning of the last week at work. See you tomorrow in the next video. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments down below. And also down below, probably more here, is a like button. I would very much like it if you would hit that. And if you would hit the subscribe button, which is probably next to that, then you will be notified as soon as the next video in this series comes online. And also, if you subscribe, it will actually add positively to my YouTube cred. So, yes, I would really like you to subscribe to this channel. Having said all that, and having shamelessly promoted myself, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And until then, bye.